today I'm heading up to Clevedon Golf Club. I've been invited up by John Morgan. Now John has also invited up darts royalty Bob Anderson. Now Bob is a former world champion, a former world #1. He's played with all the greats in the game of darts, and he also plays golf. So to have the opportunity to go up there and chat with him about his career, I'm really excited with this opportunity. Let's get up to Bristol and catch up with Bob.
Bob, the limestone cowboy. Where did that come from?
It came from the late Sid Waddell,
right?
Who was the voice of darts, as you know. And, 1984, I started wearing country and western shirts, and Sid found out I was a big John Wayne buff.
Right.
And I lived on the limestone hills of Wiltshire.
Yeah.
So he called me the limestone cowboy.
Wow. And
it stuck. He also called me Clint Plywood once.
Right.
Which didn't stick, I'm pleased to say. But that's where the nickname came from. And you know, I still wear the western shirts when I'm on exhibition duty. And if I don't, I get into trouble with the crowd, because that's what they want to see.
That's what they want to see, absolutely.
Exactly, yeah.
Great shot. Cracking shot, Bob. Oh, that's on it. That's on it. Woo.
No, I can't do it much better than that.
Very nice, Bob. How old were you when you started playing darts? You were 5 years old, so your parents would have got you.
My late father was a very good dart player.
Right.
In the pubs around Winchester, where I come from.
Right, yeah.
And yeah, I fell in love with the game very early. But soccer was my first love.
Was it?
And I played a reasonable standard.
Yeah.
Like lots of other kids of my age, I wanted to be a pro, and I wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
But
so what level did you get in football then? What were you?
I started off as a goalkeeper with I played for Swindon Boys.
Yeah.
Under Bert Head, who wanted me to sign forms for the Swindon Town. In every goalkeeper, there's a frustrated centre forward. And I started scoring goals for fun. So I actually had pro trials as a centre forward. I ended up playing for Highworth Town and Wootton Bassett Town.
Yeah.
But in 1976 I smashed my knee badly, and that was the end. And one door closes, another one opened. A friend said to me, why don't you come down the pub and have a game of darts again? And before you know it, I was playing every night of the week, and got picked for the county. Then I got picked for England,
and that's where
the rest is history, as they say.
Started, yeah. So before your darts career, you were picked to go to the Olympics, if I read correctly.
I was training for Mexico.
Right.
I was just too young for Tokyo.
Okay.
I was only 14. But by the time I was 16, I was training for Mexico. And I was throwing the big spear, 800 grams. I was throwing that to within 30 feet of the men's world championship title, you know, so it was there.
Yeah.
I had an excellent coach in Tom McNabb from London, and the late Ron Pickering would come down to Swindon twice a week sometimes to train me.
Yeah.
But in those days there was no computerized training regimes.
No.
So they had me throwing a 4-pound shot, throwing it to actually build up a body strength, which I did, but at the same time I overtaxed every pivotal joint in the body, and consequently I've had 3 lots of reconstructive surgery, pretty major over the years. 1990 I had double laminectomy, which is 2 discs removed,
right,
and fusion. Then 10 years ago I had a new left knee, and in 1967 I had a shoulder rebuilt.
Right.
So I went from throwing big spears to little arrows.
Yeah.
I'm glad I did, really. to 1.
Was a better
I like
putt.
that one, Bob. I thought you had that. You can have that one.
Thank you.
You can have that one.
So your career then, you got to world number 1, didn't you?
I did. I was world number 1 for 3 years.
3 years as world number
was
1.
a
You won the
very,
world. You won the world championships as well.
I did. Yeah, in 1988. But I won 8 titles with the word world in them.
Yeah.
I had a hat-trick of World Masters.
You won that in 87,
86, 87, 88.
Yeah.
And that was from the floor. So I didn't, you know, I joined it at the base at 256, and someone has done it since, Martin Adams, but he started at the last 16. So I put it down as we've both won the same competition, but on different terms.
Yeah. And 88, you won the world championships.
Yes, that was a big year.
So that was a big. Would you say that was your biggest year in darts? 88.
Yes, it would have to be. It would have to be my biggest. It's not, funnily enough, it's not my greatest moment in darts. A lot of people say, well, it's got to be. You won the world championship. You can't get any higher than that. Yeah, that's true. But my proudest moment was being made captain of England, the full England team in 1992, and I led a team out that was the who's who of world darts. Phil Taylor, Dennis Priestley, John Lowe, Bob George, they were all there, with one exception. The late Eric Bristow, sadly, was suffering dreadfully with dartitis at the time, and he didn't make the squad.
You and him quite close?
we came very close to fisticuffs in the very early years.
Right.
I didn't like what he stood for and what he said, or what he did.
Right.
But we started working together in the late 90s on Legends work, and I found that he'd grown up and matured a bit, and I think I had as well, and we became very close. And in 2004 he was my best man when I got married for the second time to Sally, and the first time to Sally. And Eric was my best man, and we're very, very sad at his early demise. I mean, sadly taken from us. What a great character and what a fabulous dart player he was in his pomp. And I think I learned an awful lot from him, as did most people who've picked up a set of darts, if they're honest.
For a golfer, I'm a golfer watching darts. Big drinking culture. That was obviously the case. Is it still the case? Because you used to be able to drink on stage, but now that's not the case.
Well, that's quite right. Funnily enough, the players actually made the decision to stop drinking on stage.
Right.
The players made that decision themselves, and I was party to that in 1989. And rather than be told no drinking on stage, we thought, set a pretty good example. If a sport which has been so intertwined with alcohol all the years should suddenly stand up and make a stand like this, which we did. I got to be honest, being old school, I voted against it because I like a pint when I'm playing. So I thought it would be a retrograde step. How wrong was I? It was the standards just went up and up and up and up.
Did they?
Absolutely fabulous. And the standards today, I'm glad I retired when I did. Well, it's reading 154. Little Suttonwood. Another old gentleman's persuader.
Great shot, Bob.
Hey.
Great shot. So we're playing here today at Clevedon, and your home course, and we're playing alongside John Morgan, who's obviously a very good friend of yours. You play a bit of golf with. He's given me some fantastic stories about life on tour and things like that. You know, was that similar for you guys? Did you have some amazing? I mean, what was tour life like? A lot of travel?
Well, yes, in common with most of the sports. Sort of living out of a suitcase, and living in each other's pockets basically for months, sometimes months on end, all around the world. which was great fun. It was tiring, quite rewarding if you did well in the tournaments.
Yeah.
Not so good if you didn't do well.
Yeah.
But being able to travel with and compete with legends like Eric, John Lowe, Jockey Wilson. I mean, I do a little after dinner speaking, and I could do 45 minutes on Jockey Wilson alone, but I wouldn't dream of doing so. But some of the scrapes he got into were unfortunate, should we say. So there was a lot of fun involved, but there were some pretty dicey moments as well.
Yeah.
But which we don't talk about very much. But
No, absolutely.
it was fun, and I was lucky enough to be a world champion amongst these multi-world champions, and I think I'd have won a few more until that Phil Taylor came along.
Yeah, he did.
He spoiled for everybody.
He turned it around, didn't he?
16 world titles.
Yeah.
Astronomical.
And how good was he? Or
The best who's ever drawn breath,
Really?
without a shadow of a doubt. I would have to say I played him 38 times around the world in comps, big comps,
Yeah.
and I beat him 5 times. Now you might think that's not very good. I'll stand that against most.
Yeah.
He had this almost infallible ability to stand there with a shaking hand and hit the double with his last dart.
Really?
It was infuriating. I thought, I've got another shot here. No.
How much pressure was there? How much did the pressure build up in certain situations for you, and how did you kind of deal with it?
Cider, basically. No, I think every dart player feels pressure
Yeah.
and feels nerves. It's the man who deals with them best
Yeah.
is going to emerge as victorious.
Yeah.
And I think that holds true in most sports. But I've been as nervous as a kitten on the hockey,
Yeah.
but I've some semblance of knowing what I'm doing there, so I'm much more nervous today standing here talking to you. But,
You're a little bit more comfortable in that environment.
I think so, aren't
Yeah.
we all? When
Yeah,
we get
in your own
environment.
little
Yeah.
environment's absolutely right.
I've got a putt for a birdie here.
Go on then, let's go and roll it in.
I'm going to go and roll it in. 18 inches outside the right.
I'd go even more.
Would you?
I would. But it's all about.
I can see the flag, sort of circular shadow there. You'd recommend on that line?
I would. I mean, just because the greens are faster, Bo, and I think obviously the pace is going to bring a lot more in if you're dead weight as well.
Okay, let's see what we can do.
It's tracking. Oh. So what are you up to at the moment then? You're still touring, aren't you?
Well, obviously everything's still in lockdown in terms of exhibition work.
Yeah.
I've had about 30 shows this year cancelled, unfortunately.
Right.
But a lot of them have been rebooked for next year, so you know, it's a year out of my life that I could ill afford to lose at my stage. But do you know what? I haven't wasted the time. I've been busy building bird boxes for the garden. I've never made so many bird boxes.
Right?
But and John will tell you, I also make longbows.
Oh wow, okay.
My son and daughter from my first marriage, Jenny and David, are very much into the English Longbow Society.
Yeah.
So I sort of tack on a bit and make a few bows from time to time.
Yeah.
That's not a patch on they would make, but not bad.
And is that something you've learned during lockdown, or is it something you've done
it's
for
something
some time
I've done
now?
all my life.
That's it, right.
Oh, wow, Bob, how good's that? Best one of the day.
That's my best one of the day, without a doubt.
Tell me about your golf then. You've again with what you've done in the dart world, it's given you opportunities to play in some fantastic events, I imagine, over the years with some amazing people.
It certainly has. I mean, I was a member of Variety Club Golf Society for 30 years.
Yeah.
And during which time I got to play with some of the greats. Lee Trevino.
Did you really? Wow.
Partnered Lee at Woburn in 1988.
word.
And the biggest thrill for me was that he knew who I was.
Wow.
And he was either an extremely good actor or he had done his homework. And I was astonished. He even knew that I'd played John Lowe in the final. It's 2 months earlier, 3 months earlier. And he knew the score.
Wow.
I was astonished.
And you played a little bit, you played with Sandy Lyle and Sam Torrance.
Sam Torrance.
Sam Torrance.
Sam Torrance. I did Question of Sport with Sam.
Did you?
And I had a headache the next morning.
Did you?
The late David Coleman was, oh, I get out of breath going up this hill.
Yeah.
David Coleman was fronting the show, and he was a stickler for the rules.
Yeah.
And they filmed 2 shows in one day, so I'm in the audience watching Sam, who, it has to be said, had had 1 or 3 drinks. And Bill Beaumont had his hand at the back of Sam's jumper, keeping him upright. And it came out, it was a photograph of 3 golfers that Sam had to identify. Chip Beck, Andy Bean, I think, and one other, I can't remember. And Sam's like this. And he looks at it, he says, "Give us a clue, David." And Coleman says, "You know the rules, no clues on this show." And Sam says, "You're about as much use as a effing traffic cop." Cut, because it was recorded live.
Yeah.
So it was all cut. And when the show was broadcast, there comes a point when the whole audience and everybody is cracking up laughing.
Yeah.
Nobody knows why. I know why. It was that line.
Probably what you got, 50, 60 yards?
Yeah, I've got a 60 degree.
Yeah. Keeping it below the hole.
Try and throw it right at the pin and hopefully
Naturally drift on you. Go on then.
Well, that's left of the pin, but it's not a bad shot.
Yeah, that's a good shot. That's a good lead,
Not an
Bob.
uphill putt now.
Nice uphill, solid putt now.
Good course management there.
Peter Alliss.
Yes, I've known Peter through Variety Club and the charity event, the Alliss Merlot at Ferndown, which I've been lucky enough to win twice over the years. And Peter is such a wonderful character, and I was lucky enough to play with Peter in one of the last charity days he played, and it was at Blackmore on the Sussex Hampshire border. And at the time Peter had a Bentley, the registration Putt 3. And I know he was using some Marroman clubs or Mizuno clubs, and he got on a par 5 in 2, and he was like 70 something, and he holed a 30-foot putt for eagle. And I can remember saying to him, "You'll be getting rid of that Putt 3 registration plate then, Peter." He said, "Just wait, Robert," he said, "just wait." The next hole, he 3-putted from 4 feet. And bless him, his putter preceded him to the next tee. I didn't take up golf until 1983, and I never won anything of merit in darts until I took up golf. And I can remember John Lowe and Eric and the rest of them saying, "What are you doing? Go and play in golf, you should be practicing." I said, "Well, you're indoors smoking and drinking, I'm out getting some exercise and enjoying myself." So they still criticised me, and then I started winning tournaments. And the reason I was winning tournaments was, in order to play this game well, I have to concentrate harder than I'd ever done in any sport in my life. And when I took that enhanced concentration level back to my sport, I found I could out-concentrate them. And I wasn't getting put off and distracted like some of them were. And I started winning. And then, guess what happened? They all went out and bought golf clubs. That's a true story. Yeah. I would normally, when I'm fit, be in a wedge here, but I'm going to take a little Easy 9-iron. Because I've been in that front bunker so many bloody times, I don't want to be in it again.
Oh, it's bouncing. It's bouncing.
Daniel,
That may not be too far away.
Bob a dart. You said earlier you were still doing a little bit of exhibition stuff now. Still throwing the darts?
I'm still throwing the darts, but only in practice at the moment.
Right.
Because of lockdown.
Yeah.
And pubs and clubs are not back to normal as yet.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can see some light at the end of the tunnel, and I can get back on the board in earnest.
Yeah.
Over the next couple of months or so. Really hope so. I've missed it dreadfully.
Yeah.
And you know, it was such a part of my life for so many years. To have an enforced layoff for the first time in 40 years.
Yeah.
I found it quite strange. And I got back on the board last night in practice, and it was just a thrill.
Yeah.
And the old buzz was there. Yeah.
Turn now. Stay there.
Stayed straight in a yard of pumpkin. Never mind. And I think I might have got that. That might just come down onto the green.
It's chasing down there. It's chasing down there. We got a thumbs up by John.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Good.
Oh yeah.
Oh, we got a whistle from John as well.
Well, what an opportunity that was to play golf with Bob Anderson, a world champion, a world #1 in darts, to listen to the stories he had about life on tour, the sports that he played, the fact that he nearly became an Olympian in javelin, and also that he used golf to help him win that first championship title. Fascinating to listen as you went around the golf course with him. I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank John Morgan and to Clevedon Golf Club for the invite up that day. If you're ever in the Bristol area, Clevedon Golf Club is part of the Bristol Golf Break, so I'll pop a little link in the description down below and get up there and check it out. Don't forget, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up if you like what you're seeing. As always, stay safe, and we'll catch up with you again soon.